Today, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about my journey with subclinical hypothyroidism and adrenal fatigue. I don't know if y'all know this, but on average, 20 million Americans deal with or are dealing with some type of thyroid disease or disorder. And that is a crazy amount of people, 20 million people. And that I would assume, that with that high of a number, it would mean that like so many people that we know are either being affected by it currently or know somebody that is affected by it, right? Well, so how did my journey start and how did I determine that I had this? Well, first of all, some of you have been following me for quite some time and you have seen my health and fitness journey where I lost 65 pounds and have kept it off now for 7 years. I've kind of lost track. It's been quite some time. And I was able to detox off of antidepressants that I had been on for over 18 years due to all of the changes that I made. I was no longer dealing with those symptoms anymore. And that was quite a journey all in itself. So now I'm trying to gather my thoughts as to how long ago this was. It was probably almost 3 years ago now. I was affected by this extreme sense of not being able to recover from my workouts. I was doing the workouts. I happened to be on a 2-week vacation in Florida, and we were going hardcore to all of the different parks, and we were spending like very long days in the park, walking, 12 miles or something a day. It was something ridiculous how much we were walking. And then I was not sleeping because I was still food prepping every night for my little one because he could not eat anything in the parks and most restaurants. So I was up super late and I wasn't getting very much sleep, and I was thinking that I was kind of invincible and I was just continuing to do my workouts. And at that point in time, I was doing a pretty heavy duty workout, or a pretty intense workout, not heavy duty. It was very high intense cardio. And I didn't want to give that up because it was part of the way that I treated my depression and anxiety was to do these workouts. And I figured, you know what? It'll be fine. I'll recover. Well, what I came to find out basically was that my body was not recovering to the point where by the time I came home from those 2 weeks, I could actually like touch my arm and it would hurt a lot. And it was like that on my arms, on my legs. And what I found out was that my lymphatic system had completely backed up. And your lymph system is incredibly important in the detox process. And so when I was breaking down my muscles, every time I would work out, it didn't have anywhere to go because my lymph system wasn't getting it out of my body. So then the toxins were staying within my muscles. So this was a really odd thing. This is not something that, I went to a regular doctor. They hadn't a clue. By regular doctor, I mean like a GP, general practitioner. They had no idea. They were just looking at me like I had two heads. And so that was highly not helpful. My chiropractor, though, he really dug in further, and he came to realize that, yeah, my lymph system had completely backed up. And then it was like, why is your lymph system backed up, though? And in putting things together, we came to realize that it was indeed a thyroid situation, that my thyroid had stopped being as productive and it wasn't helping my system do what it normally is supposed to do. So then my lymph system wasn't emptying out, and in essence, there was the problem. So whereas a lot of people will notice things like fatigue and weight gain or weight loss, depending upon if you're hyper or hypo, and people will notice, women will notice it in their menstrual cycles and their periods, and there's multiple symptoms. I didn't have any of those symptoms. I felt like I was on top of my game, like queen of the world, whatever, and I wasn't figuring it out. And so that was my initial symptoms. Now, and also the other thing is brain fog. That's another common one. Now, since I've been on this journey for quite some time, and I've been doing it all natural in treating, it was caught at a point where, like, when the blood tests were done, they didn't trigger like, oh yes, you definitely have a thyroid issue. So medications were not like pushed at me right away. So I was able to search for alternative measures and alternative treatments by choice, and I was happy about that. I didn't go to a million doctors so I could find one that would give me a pill. Granted, I do take a lot of pills, but they are all like they're not pharmaceuticals. They're all supplements that are really high quality supplements that have mostly vitamins and minerals and nutrients that my body was deficient in. But anyway, so basically since then I've been on this journey, and I have experienced many more side effects as time has gone on. Brain fog is something that I struggle with still to this day. It's good some days, really bad other days. A lot of it also depends upon what I have eaten. And yeah, it's a struggle. My fatigue, I dealt with very badly. There were months at times where I could barely do more than my minimal functioning. And by minimal functioning, I'm talking like walking around, preparing food, driving somewhere. That was a struggle because it was hard for me to stay awake. I was never in danger, but still it was like, oh my gosh, I have to drive an hour? You gotta be kidding me. And unfortunately, dealing with adrenal fatigue to boot, I couldn't just dump a whole bunch of coffee down my throat, or any type of caffeinated beverage in order to fix that. I couldn't deal with the coffee, because then the coffee or the caffeine would make me feel jittery and would make me feel on edge and angry even. But then, so I couldn't do that. So yeah, so I've dealt with a lot of brain fog, which is probably one of the hardest things because people don't understand it. You're having a conversation with them and all of a sudden you're just like, okay, so now I was saying something to you and I cannot remember what it was. And then they'll remind you and then you'll be, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, all right. And you know, what are you gonna do? It's kind of embarrassing, especially if you're trying to have like a conversation like I'm having with you all right now. But yeah, so my struggles have led me down a path where I have utilized a lot of natural things to help in the process of treating my thyroid symptoms. And I know that I was able to catch mine early on, and I know that there are people that have utilized some of these things, and every person is different. Every single person will react differently to different methods. So what works for me may not work for you, or it may work wonderfully. And over the next several blogs that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be sharing some of those things, nutrition and how I had to change my exercises, how I had to implement supplements, and how I had to really work on sleep and stress reduction. So I look forward to sharing this with you guys because I feel like a lot of people don't even realize that natural options are available. And after being on medication for many years, as I said, 18 years on the antidepressants, and there was other medication that I was on also on top of that, and both have showed signs of research that could have led to where I dealt with a thyroid issue. So I definitely was trying to find that natural remedy because I didn't want to deal with anything else because I took something to fix the thyroid. Anyway, so I look forward to sharing with you guys a little bit more about this. And if you have dealt with a thyroid issue and you did not respond on my post that I made earlier, I would love to hear about it, or you can share it here too, because this is definitely something that people need to be aware of that's going on, and because it's super important. And with 20 million Americans dealing with it, awareness is always beneficial in any type of situation like that. All right, well, I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will be posting a blog later on going into a little bit more depth about my journey and also what I'll be including throughout the other blogs that I'll be posting later on. All right, well, I will see you all later. All right, bye.